doesn't result in anything, and a quick rotation from the Hunters there, Vicky. They do end up capping the point first, and Architect in a little bit of trouble, doesn't manage to get away, just gets chased down by Gaga. Lee finds a pick off on Shy as well.
Well, there's that threat opportunity that goes down, minus this Coldest that could deal with Jinmu, but while they're so fixated on Jinmu, it's kind of like what we were talking about. Now you have the Hunters that not only do they have control over the point first, but they're still cleaning up the Spark. Look at that, they're desperately trying to hold back, but Leaf just trying to get that last pick, and he manages to get away. He was literally one. But now he's treading on enemy territory.
I mean, okay, self-destruct, I mean, that's going to get zero people. I mean, it clears off the high ground, I guess. Leaf does get rezzed as Skushui finds him, but then gets taken out by Monk, who's holding an off angle. Ah, that was
Shy just last weekend, but not too sure if the Spark are just trying to utilize that trend. They have the rally that they're trying to push into the point. Now that overtime's ticking away, you have the Spark, they haven't even been able to touch the point, and they're not going to be able to without their support. Now that Jinmu's taking care of them, he utilized the Rocket Barrage, but it's just space that he's controlling. I don't know what's going on here with the Spark, with the Hunters.
Mind you. So, you know,
It's
he's
like
got some
50
experience
years.
against the Spark on the stage, but at this point, yeah, in gamer years, that's about 50 years.
My
Well,
back
there
is
you go.
hurting
Shine
already.
Going down.
From age too, and not just that, but it's looking like right now Gaga and Late Young wasting no time. They've taken care of the Spark, winning another team fight. I don't think the Spark have won a single team fight. The Mortality Field's gonna help save the rest of the Hunters while they hold that choke point. Taking a look at Bernard, who's on the back though. He's trying to split some of that attention, but not wanting to get sandwiched. They have to back off, and Shy gets shut down after trying to utilize that Deadeye. Meanwhile, Bernard with the Diva Bomb, he can't even get back into his mech because he gets deleted. And now the rest of the Spark, their plans have been foiled. Hunters are pushing forward, and they still maintain control over the point. Spark
Doing a little bit more than Leave, apparently, in that situation. They're going to go in again and start for the rally.
And this time as well, they have to deal with the Molten Core. They're dropping down, but look who's right behind them. It's Architect, and he has the Tag Visor, and he's cleaning things up with all the rest of the damage coming in from the Spark on the front lines. That was a great way for Architect to also get into position there, because then he was just able to keep pressuring them when they were forced to retreat.
I didn't really know Gaga was in their spawn. Apparently needed Spark in that situation. Gooshway finds a nice hot to Yveltal, but it doesn't matter because Leaf's killed 2 already.
Yeah, and he's going on to the backline too. He's going in for a flank. They have to deal with them. Now he gets deleted after the pool. And that Discord Orb managing to do enough damage, but the rest of the Hunters have now been here. Nobody there to touch. The Hunters are on their way to speed run through this series. None of the Spark have that open path to get out. Getting pulled right in though. Shy just forced to back off. Both tanks though are really low. It's difficult for Mika to try to get into position, but with this Valk, maybe they can. But now with the Supercharger out from Gaga, that's so much damage coming in. And both Architect and Shy won't be in this fight. And look at the way the Hunters are already playing so far up. Ant Matrix is also going to block that path, and the Spark are playing so split up at this point. Throwing the Diva Bomb now too. They're trickling in with their ult, and now they have no Transcendence, no Valk, and they have less than 30 seconds to get on this point, Jaws.
Yeah, they got a pick though. Jinmu is dead. Can they make something of it? Lei Young's going to go down as well.
Well, there's an opportunity, especially since Lei Young fell into those Dragons, but
They're
getting
Shy.
res right into it. Shy finally getting into position onto the back lines so they can get set up here. This is their opportunity. Finally leave, and now the Spark are at the number advantage, and they're also taking control over the point. Better late than never, I always say, now as it's set over to overtime.
Oh my word, Shy had a vendetta against the Hunt.
Well, I really like this swap here from Jinmu, because now with Leave having the Dragons that he's already going to send out, the Minefields being on the high ground, it's caught Yveltal off guard, and Monk is taking a lot of damage. Already see Architect hugging their spawn, but he's got to worry, though. At the same time, Cold is trying to give him the backup, but Architect goes down. Leave does not let him just move into the spawn for free. He needs to clear some space for Monk to also get into position, but yeah, look at the way that the Hunters are playing. The Spark are also playing really reserved after utilizing what they had left.
Leave actually does not miss right now, although Bernard kills Late Young, and Leave actually maybe missed a couple there because Shy got a kill.
Oh, but it hit the wall, but it still finds Gaga. The shield not going to hold itself up to protect themselves from the Diva Bomb, thinking that it was actually going to go right behind them, but now the Dragons will stop them from moving in. The EMP, they'll find Ngushue and Bernard, nobody from the Hunters to contest.
Playing it rather slow, yeah, just looking to build ults unless they can find a pick. Cold is forced to use nade fairly early. Could be in trouble, but Bernard is right at his back. I say that! Instantly, Coldest goes down to Jinmu.
Cold is out. Jinmu also finding Mika. That's both supports out, all at the hands of Jinmu. Lei Young getting D-Mex is forced back to back off, but Architect is also popping off on those back lines. Architect,
he's just trying to go for a sneaky pulse bomb in the back. Maybe he sees Monk.
trying to get to opportunity here. Guangzhou getting that pick on to leave. Meanwhile, we've also managing to reposition with that Valve, but the EMP landing onto 3 and leave. Actually, also trying to utilize the EMP maybe here because he gets booted out and immediately doesn't get anything off of it. Monk also going down. The attempt was there, but it was Shy's EMP that came out on top, as well as the Spark having that number advantage. A great start for the Spark to finally get some momentum.
They can make use of that space.
Yeah, they really couldn't push in from where the minefields were, and also both of the DPS from the Spark were hanging on the back, but now lead that found Architect does leave Shy here to try to build into this EMP, but now demeching Bernard and stopping him from getting into the mech, although he gets put to sleep. That's a threat that you don't want to deal with right now unless somebody wakes up. Leave, he's already back in the fight, and they also have Late Young's Diva Bomb to try to clear some space on the point before trying to engage here. Lee taking a lot of damage, but look at the action going down in that small hallway, I guess you would want to call it here. Guangzhou trying to find Leave, and now he's also going down too. The Spark managed to hold on Jaws, and now they're just a matter of cleaning up with Architect, still holding on to that pulse bomb too.
Okay, Spark really coming alive now. They're funneling.
Guangzhou taking so much damage despite being in the prime.
Look at that personal shield that leaves granted as well by Yveltal. 2 ticks now for the Hunters, Vicky. Architect goes down.
Leave also just trying to isolate Coldest, who was taking a lot of damage off the high ground by Jinmu. He's forced to jump down. Now Jinmu to get back into the action. They trade that for both supports, but it's the Spark that have that spawn advantage. Leave is so low, and with swaps to the Architect onto the Doomfist, he was able to get back into the action, and they stop the Hunters. They get only 2 ticks in the process, and they're also low on time now.
Tough situation for the Spark to defend, but they only need to defend for a minute or stall, in fact.
Meanwhile, Diva Bomb moving into the back, just takes care of the Supercharger, and Guangzhou having that nano boost from Coldest, just trying to get into position, holding the front line here. You can see them forcing the Hunters back and with taking so much pressure. They are forced back, but they do have some ultimates to work with for this potential last fight because they need to reset now that there's less than a minute on the clock.
Yeah, and you can imagine because there's only...
Basically means the EMP was there to scare them, but Guangzhou at least taking some damage now in the Transcendence to get everybody from the Hunters into position. Overtime ticking away and Leave opening things up, finding Architect here for the rest of the Hunters. This is their opportunity, but look at the way that they're rotating as well. Jaws, they're so spread out. And you also have Guangzhou in the back. Also the EMP coming in. Gaga goes down, and great anti coming in from Coldest. Looking a lot better this time around for the Spark. Meanwhile, they were able to capture it twice, and the Hunters can't even set their toe onto the second point. Lei Young does find that pick, but is it gonna be enough, Jaws? Is the Spark finally putting themselves back in this series after that first map?
Wow, maybe I spoke into existence a little bit too soon, Vicky. Looks like they're going to be able to hold now. Gaga on the Wrecking Ball can't quite get another touch, and the Spark, they take another...
Actually opting to go for that Sombra, and they have a lot of that terrain to actually maneuver around through, and Gaga wasting no time to follow up with Jinmu.
What?
Architect's gone, by the way.
Yeah, he's trying to get it forced so early. It doesn't matter though, just like the Spark just ran down the front line. Speaking of supports looking good, Coldest looking pretty good. Nice couple of clean kills there on the DPS. Okay, well, that sucks. Shy dies.
Discord orb on you. Meanwhile, Lei Young also taking some damage, but it's a Transcendence from Coldest who gets it online first. Look at the comparison. It's a Coldest Transcendence versus Monk, but look, the Hunters, they back off. They waste out that Transcendence, and now they're waiting to just re-engage, and with Bernard going down, that's going to start things off.
Yeah, well, Gaga's hacked, but it doesn't matter, Vicky. Dragon strike through. No way.
Each other. What? The chances of that. Lee finds the pick, though, with the Dragons onto Coldest. They trade that, but the Hunters have the number advantage, and they have a free pass on this point. Right, but they detect each other. They knew. That's some intel, too. Letting them know that Jinmu already has that EMP. He does find a hack onto Mika, gets out of that situation, and Guangzhou gets the pile drive pick onto Leave. Meanwhile, Monk has a Transcendence. He keeps the Hunters alive, but he has to watch out for Gaga, who goes down, taking so much damage. EMP coming in from Architect and the rest of the cleanup. I like this addition with Coldest because despite that first map, he's already warmed up, contrary to his name. Here we go, the EMP attempt here from Jinmu. It's going to find 3, and it's found Coldest. Coldest so low, but he has a Transcendence, and he's also hacked. Meanwhile, the Spark still find 2 pigs. That engagement wasn't going to work out here because you had Guangzhou lay down the minefield. Actually just blocking the Hunters from rotating to actually follow up from the EMP. That was a great timing on the field.
That was a crazy rally from Mika as well.
seeing double bubble, rather. Not double bubble, but rather Late Young and Bernard with 2 bubbles and the rally coming in. But the EMP.
Nice Transcendence.
Monk with the Transcendence saves the Hunters. Yeah, he was out of that line of sight from the EMP, so he wasn't threatened by that. So they basically negate Architect's EMP, and they're forced to back off here with the Hunters having free reign over the payload.
Yeah, they're just taking the payload.
They just walked
just
there.
completely out-rotated the Spark. Just completely out-rotated them, Vicky. The Spark, 3 people were in the back line of the Hunters, and the Hunters were like, well, that's fine, we just stacked 6 on payload.
A lot of charge right there for Late Young. Meanwhile, the EMP, they also find Coldest while they're at it. Jimmy already with the rest of the team, but Leave isn't going to be with the team. Meanwhile, Late Young can hold the front line because he has so much damage coming out, but so does Bernard. The grab comes out first from Late Young and the follow from the rest of the Hunters. They've cleaned up, and now the Spark have to wait that respawn time before they get back to contest. It may be too late. They can't. The Dragons isn't even going to be enough because they're not going to get off.
Nothing really there. It feels like the Spark right now, they just need to garner space. That's all they need to do. Just hide in this top part here and wait for Gushwei. I say that, Gushwei taking out Monk with the help of Architect. Start off the fight. Shy just killed 3! How did Shy just kill 3? I'm sorry. Can we just get a replay of that, please? Shy just headshot 1, killed 2. What just happened?
Oh my, what? The way.
Already, look at Gaga up in the high ground though. You should be able to see it. Slam. Dragons. It's not working out. I say that. Leave actually goes down.
He finds Leaf's position. I'm not too sure if actually you had Gushwei rolling around pushing him in that line of sight, because you saw Gushwei dancing against the walls with that grapple. Meanwhile, they're cleaning up shop. Monk and Late Young are gone. Gaga taking up a lot of that damage, but they've pushed through. The Spark have cleared up both of these corners.
He's just trying to spy check for Architect right now, who's got an EP of his own.
Doesn't matter if Coldest could hold out, but he doesn't even have Transcendence, so it doesn't even matter. It's Monk that really needs to watch out. The huge EMP, it's found 5, and including Coldest. Both supports have gone down for the count. Great follow from the Hunters after that Jinmu EMP. Wasted no time here, and they're still holding on to Transcendence despite utilizing the Gushwei is the one that's taken most of the damage.
Transcendence still available for Monk here. You need to just play all the way back. Architect, he's got EMP. There's the grab.
Huge grab, but the Transcendence is out already from Monk, and you already know Architect could save this EMP for the next fight. With that grab, they melted the Hunters, and now they have
focus fire.
See with Shy, another grab getting pulled out, but now this time from Late Young, and the Dragons to match that. They find Bernard here. Coldest had the Transcendence. It's just like you were talking about, Jaws. You can't heal through that when so much damage is coming out, and with those Dragons, that's going to be the nail in the coffin to follow up for view. Meanwhile, the rally, though, it's going to move everybody from the Spark forward, but you certainly have Gushwei taking so much of that damage, but Mika's right there with the rally, tries to give some of that armor. They find 2, and now the Hunters are forced to back off. Currently, Bernard also reaching that grab, but they may not even need it at this point. Jaws, look at Shy popping off, following from these Discord orbs, doing so much. Less than a minute now, Jaws. Here comes a grab from Late Young. Gets hit with the Discord. He's taking some damage, but it's Leave and Gaga who take most of that damage. Mika goes down, but Jinmu and Leave won't be in this fight. No DPS left from the Hunters, and make that with Monk going down too. This is going to be the opportunity for the Spark. They're going to be able to move this payload all the way to the finish line.
Oh, they do. A minute has been added.
That's what he's saying. Now you see me, now you don't. And now they're going to be able to hold forward. They find Shy too, and Late Young being able to help split up the Spark as they're forced to hold back, and the rest of the front line, specifically the supports, are left to fend for themselves. Gushwei getting some revenge, getting a Veltal while he's at it, but the spawn advantage is going to go in favor of this time. They have to stay onto the point, though, to force it here, and Leave with the Dragons going to clear so much space. The rotation around the statue. They're still on the point, and Bernard is so low. They finally get the D-Mech, and Gushwei gets put to sleep immediately. They wake him up, but he's so low. Leave just splitting some of that attention, now forced back onto the point with this Transcendence out. Coldest gets melted down the moment that they get split up, and nobody stays on the point. The way they just played that was so spread out that the Hunters in a better position where they make that rotation around the statue. Meanwhile, Jinmu taking a lot of damage, forced to translocate out of the situation, and the rest of the Spark, they're trying to sandwich the Hunters, but Mika popping off. It's because everyone's decided to fight in such close quarters. That shield badge coming out, and the Spark winning this team fight, already looking great. The Hunters have some of that extra time in the time bank. Gaga could get back into that fight way quicker. The pulse bomb coming out. The Transcendence now from Coldest is going to allow the Spark to move in, but they can't Okay, the body block, yeah. They can't even get through here. Shy popping off here, finding two. Found both Yveltal and leave. Meanwhile, Gaga trades that, but Monk is still here, and he has a Transcendence. He used it up, but they won't have the rally as Yveltal was one of the first to go down here. They may have needed that to at least keep up the pressure. Diva Bomb now dropping down. Architect gets taken out. The rally from Yveltal has finally come in, and the Hunters are moving on to this point. This is the opportunity that they need to secure this point on this map. Currently the Spark without Bernard, you can see them backing off before trying to re-engage. The minefields are going to be a problem in the EMP too. They won't be able to touch.
Shy can't dash! Shy can't dash! He can't touch! He got EMP'd! Oh, Shy was just popping off at the end there, but...
We're getting started, and Jinmu is on that far on this defense, though, and not anymore. Actually, not anymore. And this is the threat that I was talking about. When you have Shy popping up, you can't get away with murder if you're Jinmu. It's not going to work out. Yveltal is not going to be enough.
The perfect pick from Shy! I cannot believe that happened so quick. The defense from that Pharah, the offense, sorry, that Pharah, the close hold, that is so...
Spark is backing him up.
This is, another shot. Nano though. Nice direct hit.
Oh, Jinmu's answering right back now. It's time for the Hunters to shine. They're tired of it. Another one. Bring it up. They're all coming in, and it's in a silver platter.
A break for the Zen, but please, bro.
Oh, and he knew right there, throwing out the Dragons, trying to block the rotation. He still finds Monk, by the way, who was by that high ground. Yveltal does get hacked. Backs off with that Valk, but Jinmu gets the Rocket Barrage, and Yveltal gets into position to get that res onto Monk. All that effort for naught when the Spark have none of their supports to help back them up. Jinmu does tunnel themselves into that room, though, and gonna end up blowing themselves up, too, in the process. But now with Yveltal going down, that was...
With this EMP coming out from Leave, they might be able to... Are they even going to go for this? I don't think they should, especially with Late Young going down.
Oh, and the Discord Orb too, and getting hacked. They're just nailing the coffin right now. They're securing their way on taking this payload, but they forced out the Transcendence. They had the EMP. They utilized a lot just to get much pressure and damage. Oh, Jinmu's gone. That's Cold is getting that trade in a way better position. He knew where Jinmu was too originally, just kept pressuring him. Hunters, they do trade that. It's a 2-for-2 situation here, except it's the Spark that don't have their support, so they need to worry about that sustainability. Quick reset for Lit Young, being able to get right back into the mech of the Hunters, having that positional control over the high ground. Gushue is forced to roll out.
Goon squad coming out.
Oh, goons. True goon out here is Architect. Meanwhile, the rally, Jinmu gets stunned, Lei Young gets hacked, and Jinmu gets burned down. Discord Orb also on him. Meanwhile, the EMP landed onto both Gaga and Late Young. Gaga can't go anywhere. Great follow-up after Architect's EMP here, and Coldest still has a Transcendence. So right now, the Spark are in a way better position, and the rally is trying to, like, save Monk, apparently. Monk actually does end up surviving, and he just gets shut down from the get-go.
Oh, they knew that was going to happen. They just knew it. Jimmy switched over to the Trace and try and get back in time. Amazing minefield from Gaga to keep them in the fight as well.
Really good way to pressure out, especially in this corridor, just trying to keep their bodies blocking that entryway. Meanwhile, the Diva Bomb doesn't find anyone, but Late Young does find Bernard here as they were forced out. Now they have 10 seconds left too, Jaws, just to at least stay on this payload. And that's one way to start things off in a great way, with Leaf going down with the EMP, which means they don't have that her win condition here. Monk does have the nano boost at least to keep Gaga in this fight, and he's popping up. He's finding Coldest and Shy. His positioning right now. Meanwhile, Jinmu, he's distracting Bernard as he gets sandwiched at the same time. He's literally getting tossed around by Gaga. EMP, but for what? With Gushue being the only one left from the Spark to keep this into overtime. Love the way the Hunters played that positional-wise too. Despite Leaf going down first, the Spark couldn't clutch it out.
There's no D.Va on the side of Spark. As soon as they didn't see a D.Va, they knew exactly what con they needed to go. Already, Architect goes down. Remember, the only two people that can check in the air for Jinmu and Yveltal is going to be Shy and Coldest, and they're projectile-based. They are not hit scan. This is going to be an easy roll through. Everybody gets softened up by Jinmu, Late Young Gaga, and even Leave as well. Just
currently see already with the Hunters getting some of their ultimates online. They're going to have the nano boost first. Gushue gets hit with a nice anti. Gets to get out of the situation, but Bernard isn't as lucky. He gets the mech already.
Oh, they didn't touch!
And no one touched. No one touched either. They get that first point free, basically.
Tragedy. Oh, no. The ball was super low as well, to be fair. Gushue was kind of scurrying back to the rest of his team. Ideally, it's obviously Bernard and Gushue there.
Tracer to help him out at the same time. Gushue taking a lot of damage. I know he's going for the help back, but look how quickly they were to burn him. They don't let him get away. And now the Dragons are going to clear the payload, and they're still going to stay on it. They're still getting some of that extra credit. Shy's right there to contest, but for how long, Jaws?
I don't know. I mean, Architect needs to pull out a Miracle Blade at this point. Mika's already dead.
Oh. Currently have the recall already used up too, and nobody's bothered to leave. Who's been in the back? Meanwhile, Shy sees the opportunity here, but he can't do it. Leave finds him. He's found Architect too. Back-to-back both DPS out just at the hands of Leave.
I mean, Diva's going to be able to stall, but not for much longer. I think Gushue is going to get the final touch. Yvelto, he already popped the ult. I mean, Jinbu's got the pulse bomb as well, maybe looking for spawners, and that's going to be it. The Chengdu Hunters have qualified for the knockout stage, and Spark will be gone. 3-1. They did find a map. They found Hanamura Vicky. It was good. It was a good showing for the Spark just on that one map, but I set it up at the very start of the series. The Hunters, they've looked so good over the last couple of weeks. And the Spark with different changes to their support.